The Chevrolet Tahoe has finally got the updates to make the truck-based SUV a little bit more luxurious. We're showcasing the 2025 Chevrolet Tahoe two-wheel drive Premier in iridescent pearl tri-coat over jet black interior. The inside gets the new 17.7-inch screen configuration that goes into an 11-inch gauge cluster that's a diagonal setup. With wireless connectivity on the outside, you're getting 3 engine options for the Premier with magnetic ride control and a mechanical limited slip differential. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over the full specs of the Premier Tahoe. We're going to take this for a test drive after the interior specs, and we're going to compare this against the competition with some pros and cons. The front is going to keep true to the DNA of the truck-based Silverado. So it's going to have LED headlights, LED daytime runnings, LED fog lights. And that magnetic ride control, what does that do to the Premier? Well, it reads the road using sensors in the vehicle up to 1,000 times per second. And this is going to either stiffen the dampers or make it a little bit more soft depending on the road conditions. 8 inches of clearance, 3 powertrain options, and underneath the hood gets the standard L84, which is the 5.3 liter EcoTec3 V8 engine. That's producing 355 horsepower with 383 pound-feet of torque paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 15 mpgs for the city, 20 mpgs for the highway. You can option all-wheel drive, which will obviously decrease those mpgs, and you can option the L87 6.2 liter EcoTec3 V8, which will increase the horsepower to 420 and 460 pound-feet of torque. That's kind of the sweet spot engine, but if you're looking for a little bit more performance, the turbo diesel, which increases 38 horsepower and 35 pound-feet of torque, but going this engine option gets the best towing at 8,400 pounds and over 1,800 pound payload. 20-inch wheels is going to come standard on the Premier. We have these upgraded 22-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels. We got the running boards. The chrome is going to highlight the sides, and it should, because the Premier is basically your luxury variant of the Tahoe. When you go into the RS, you're going to save maybe $5-6 grand. So it's $78,000+ worth the sticker to this. Going high country, it's another $5-6 grand, and you can only option 2 powertrains. RS, you can option the same 3 powertrains, but then you're losing some of the standard features that you're getting here. So it's kind of the sweet spot going into the RS and the Premier to get most of the desirable features for the Tahoe. But it's going to take me into some pros and cons right off the bat. At this price, there is a lot of variance. You can step it up just a few grand more instead of going high country, and you can have a BMW X7 xDrive 40i, which is a standard all-wheel drive configuration, a near 50-50 weight distribution. Towing and payload will decrease, but you're still going to have a sporty drive and a luxury interior with a better warranty. But going to more vehicles in its class, like the Wagoneer, you're going to have a savings, but then you're dropping to the inline 6-cylinder twin-turbo engine, so you're not going to have the same type of performance as this, but you'll have more capabilities in that, because you can ford through water nearly 3 feet and almost 10,000 pounds of towing. I mean, what the hell is going on, Tahoe? Because even if I go against Nissan, the new Armada that was just refreshed, you have a little bit more off-road capabilities. So when you're thinking the RS, that's going to be the sport. The ZL1 is going to be off-road capable, but then on the Pro, you get the magnetic ride control that reads the road 1,000 times per second. You're not going to have those features when you're going against the competition. You're going to have to step it up a game to nearly 85-90 grand and go into a luxury variant to get something similar to this. So each vehicle will definitely have some pros and cons, but is this worth the price for what you're getting as a total value and the updates in the interior? I think it is, but drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Now for the power trunk, you also have where you can open up the window, so that way you can just kind of throw in anything into the cargo. Or you can just simply open it here and it will go into 25.5 cubic feet of storage. The home plug underneath the floor, it gets a little bit of storage. And to split fold the 3rd row, you just simply push the buttons right here. Unfortunately, you do have to hold them down, and this is going to increase cargo to 72.5 cubic feet. Push these twice. The second time, they'll lift up to maximize cargo to 122.7 cubic feet of storage. But this is the standard L84 5.3 V8. We need to go inside, start it up, so you can hear that exhaust note. Key fob to the new Tahoe. 12-way power seat adjustment for the front, heated ventilated front seats, and it's 3-stage for both of that. You get the contrast stitching, the piping, memory for the driver, 10 speakers through Bose, and the updates you can see in the interior with the wood inlays that carry on into the passenger side, perforated here in the center. It is a driver focused setup, but you still get a sleeve of storage here, and that carries on into the driver's side. Let's fire it up. 15-inch heads-up display, as well as a digital rear view mirror. LED interior lights are going to be on the Premier, and you'll have the air vents in the ceiling. 17.7-inch LCD screen is what we're working with, and it is not just enormous, but it still has somewhat of buttons, and they carry on with the buttons here. So I like the structure on this truck-based SUV. With Google Assist, Google Maps, Google Play, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse, and we have a 360-degree reverse camera. The trajectory will expand out, and you could change different layouts so you can make it easy for towing. You could see the side to side. You can line it up just with the tow hitch, and you can do the same thing for the front. So I like how they've made it very intuitive, but yet easy to use. Just not a huge fan of the climate control here, but it does make it a little bit easier if you neglect to push the buttons. But the way I would sit, probably just be pushing the buttons instead of going up here to the screen. You still have a physical button to turn it on and off, and for the sound system here. Wireless charging pad. Only thing that I feel they neglected, it would be cool if this kind of closed in like it does in luxury vehicles. USB-C port and a USB port, glossy black here, and it's going to be sporty. It's also perforated here in the center, and it opens up into a pretty deep storage pocket. It's a wrapped steering wheel. It's heated, multi-function. Get the glossy black here. The paddle shifts. The stock is on the gear lever with an 11-inch diagonal gauge cluster that can go through an array of different content for the driver, including putting the full navigation. You'll still have plenty of buttons right here, so you can click on the fly for the 360-degree reverse camera, and also your park assist, and turn that auto start stop off. Leg space is more than enough for the front occupants. The same thing with headroom. Tahoe just does a great job. It's a big box on wheels. Door panel and door card configuring together nicely. You get the contrast stitch on top. It's not going to be as soft as my liking, so it's more on the sporty side. One touch up and down for the front windows. You will get some wood inlays that does carry on through the center of the dash, so it gives a two-part area as well as 2 tiers of storage. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have. And it's a 2-tier to put these seats up or down by pulling this lever twice, and you pull this lever to slide it back and forth. The door card is going to be the same as the front, so you have a sufficient amount of storage. Bose comes into play, and it keeps it nice and sporty. There isn't any manual sunshades, which at nearly 80 grand, kind of wish they had it. The grab handle here, running boards, makes it easy to get in. Leg space, more than enough. And like I was showing you just a second ago, you can adjust this forward, and I still pretty much have of leg space. So you may not have to go into the Suburban. Third climate control setting here with the heated rear seats with a home plug, 2 USB-C ports, and storage behind both of the front seats, the air vents in the ceiling, and check out the headroom. You do sit up a little bit higher here, so you're going to lose maybe 1 inch to 2 inches opposed to sitting into the front, but it's still workable. And you have a full pass-through here, so you can just walk into the back and check out the leg space in the center, because I could stretch out, and from side to side, plenty of space. Cup holder, a mint holder, USB-C port on both sides, and you got the air vents here because it's freaking hot in Florida. But to go the correct way, you pull this tab, pull it again, it's gonna lift up, giving you optimal space to get inside. And that's what I like about these box truck-like or truck-based SUVs. You just got a ton of space, as you're noticing here. The armrest area, I kind of like it because it's pushing you inwards more, so that way you can actually utilize the cup holder sitting onto the side. It's more than enough. The new Tahoe with the standard engine, the L84, which is the 5.3 liter EcoTec V8 engine. Now, a couple of things to put into content. This does have the dynamic fuel management technology, which will deactivate different cylinders so you'll get better MPGs, but realistically, I mean 15 to 20, it's not a huge difference. 355 horsepower with 383 pound-feet of torque. I do like how you can get two different option engines though, because it does make it a little bit more desirable, especially going into this trim. And this truck is going to make it easy for me to do a U-turn right here in the middle of the road. And let's check out some of that performance. Gets up to speed quick and smooth with magnetic ride control, reading the road 1,000 times per second. That itself is impressive. Is it worth over $78,000? Or should you go into the competition is a question that I have thrown in through this review. I think it is, and it's gonna start off with some pros. The interior itself is comfortable. The seats are wide enough for the bolstering, and you don't get any cushion extensions. You have more than enough leg room, so it makes it optimal. If you do need to rest your legs on the side, you can do so, and you're not going to get tired. Sitting into the second row, the captain seat configuration does sit up higher, but it's still a comfortable seat. Not a huge fan of the two-part or two different movements in order to fold the seat up. In the switch that's on the side, typically it's on the lower bit, but this is what GMC does to all of their vehicles. I like the screen configuration. Kind of wish it wasn't so much of a driver-focused setup. It is very tech-driven. Safety has also been updated with front pedestrian and bicyclist braking that starts between 5 and 50 miles per hour. That will avoid for collisions, reverse automatic braking, a total of 7 airbags, hill start assist, blind zone steering assist, OnStar, enhanced upgraded automatic parking assist, rear cross traffic braking, rear pedestrian alert, side bicyclist alert, lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, forward collision. And even though it's a large vehicle, box on wheels, truck base, it doesn't feel like it drives like a truck. So I appreciate that, especially when I'm doing my day in and day out chores or going for hour drives. This is something that is comfortable with Bose sound system, so you can just relax. Turn radius at more or less a stop point. This is a box. About 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. And let's check the brakes. They don't grab as much as I would like. When you mash on the gas, the performance is fine. But mashing on the brakes, you want to do so a little bit more early. But when you're considering this is a damn yacht on wheels, it's going to take a little bit more force in order to actually stop. Like I typically say on my reviews, it'll stop on a dime. This will not. So just be cautious with that. Maneuverability purposes, the steering is light. There's not a lot of feedback. 22-inch wheels. I don't even feel the reflectors that I'm hitting in the road. As you get up to a higher speed, road noise does filter in a little bit. That's to be expected. I mean, 22-inch wheels, 8 inches of clearance. It's taller. It's a truck-based SUV. But I think they did a good job cleaning everything up. Acoustic side windows and front windscreen. Now, going against competition, because this is a very crowded market, every single company makes 800 different vehicles of the same vehicles. So which way should you navigate? For me, if I'm already at 78 grand, I would start looking at luxury vehicles because this is a higher price tag. The difference, though, is it is a smooth driving vehicle. You have engine options, and you can still option features in the interior. When you go into competition, the only way that you can get different engine options is changing trims, which will escalate the price to a 6-figure pricing, making this a sweet spot vehicle. Going into cars or vehicles in its class, like the Wagoneer. Awesome vehicle in the interior. This is going to have larger screen configuration. It's going to be just as comfortable. You could tow a little bit more than that. You could do some more off-roading capabilities, but if you're wanting off-roading capabilities, you just go into the Z71. The new Armada is kind of a sweet spot deal because if you consider the new Infiniti QX80 is literally the same vehicle, you're getting a $20,000, $30,000 discount. Towing capabilities is still comparable to this. It's gonna feel a little bit faster with that twin turbo V6. But again, you get the turbo diesel, which is actually my favorite engine to option when it goes to Chevy because the damn thing will last over 500,000 miles without any problems. And going into Toyota, you'll get the iForce Max. It's also a truck-based vehicle, but a lot more plastic amenities. Here is going to have more soft premium amenities found through the interior of the cabin. So yet again, I appreciate that Chevrolet has went that extra step because Toyota has went more to the plastic amenities in the interior, and the seats are not as comfortable as this. The ride itself is comfortable, and you sit up good with ground clearance, but then you're gonna be spending more money than you would coming into the Tahoe. Which takes me to the reason why I think it's worth it. It's one of the most quiet vehicles in class. It's one of the most smooth vehicles in class. Over 120 cubic feet of storage. You can fit everybody, even a huge TV in the back with all the updated tech, and it's all wireless connectivity. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here, and I'd like to thank our friends here at Morgan Chevrolet.